What's up, guys? Happy Thursday night to you. You know what night it is. Thursday night, what's it called? Off-centered? Off-centered with me and Dustin, and I got my dessert as well. I got a couple cupcakes here. These are vegan cupcakes from Trader Joe's. One of the best cupcakes I've ever had from a grocery store. So if you have a Trader Joe's in your area, check out these cupcakes. $3.99 for 4 of them. I got 2 boxes of them, 2 cartons here, but love the stuff. I'm gonna eat that tonight. And yeah, I'm a bit off center myself because this is the first time we've had this show on my channel. The last time was on Dustin's channel, but it's great to see you guys here in the comment section. Mike C is always one of the first people here. I think you are the first. Boomer89, appreciate your comment from 1:23 p.m. 1:23 p.m. And that's very generous to call Dustin a European footballer. In a couple minutes, I'll show you what I think Dustin really looks like. Yo, what's up? HGS Spider-Man 56. Good to see you. Yeah. Ooh, man, that sounds good. That sounds real good. All right. Well, before I hop in or bring Dustin on, a couple things that I want to mention first. In this stream, we want to talk a bit about eBay because we both had experiences with customer service regarding a exchange return type of thing, which I think could be pretty valuable because eBay actually surprised me with what they decided to do. Obviously, PSA's news, that's really big as well. What this month has been like. For me, it's not been a month that was like the others, and we'll talk a bit about that, as well as the cards we've been buying and our thoughts on each of them. And I invested $4,400 into a couple cards back in, it's like Monday. I bought these cards, and I will give you a hint as to what it is, but I'm not going to show it until my mail day unless you are on my weekly newsletter, and you can sign up there at thecomebackcardinvestor.com. Also, if you recently signed up before today, every email or every sign up I got after the 13th of April somehow did not get stored, so I apologize. Just sign up again if you'd like to get on that list. All right, let me bring him back. Where are you at, Dustin? Are you even awake?
Oh, is it time? All right, I've got auctions. I've got auctions ending soon.
That's the thing, man. Dude, I swear, sometimes when I'm on these live streams, I'm looking down at my phone and I'm like, hold on. All right, yeah, keep talking. Yeah. Because it's always like, I guess 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, they start flooding in. And I've noticed most of my auctions that I'm looking at, Sunday, there's a lot, but I've noticed that Monday, there's a lot on Monday, and I thought Sunday would be way more. But recently, I was looking at 16 or 17 auctions just ending on Monday night.
Yeah, I guess I never really noticed that. I thought that Sunday, well, you know what, during football season, Sunday night, I remember Sunday night being kind of a hot night. I think people try to catch like those games ending, at the end of Sunday night.
Well, I mean, look, let's start with eBay because I know you've had an experience that I don't even know about. I had an experience with them earlier this week, and I thought I was going to go in a really bad direction, and I was going to make a really ranty video out of it, and actually went in a good direction. Let me say hi to a couple of you guys real quick, though. Bobby B's in the house. Got to show that comment, of course. Brian, keep the expectations low, man. Keep them low. Keep them low. Business 123. Tao, what's up, dude? Yes, dude, lots of banter, and we will be making fun of Dustin's haircut until it grows back. So I promise you that. I don't know if we'll give you a lot of insight into cards and whatnot, but I have some really good pictures to show Dustin, and we'll get to that in a bit. Okay, and I think I'm the only one that's going to have internet issues because you got what? You got fiber optic now?
I do, although I was telling Brad we were having a little bit of an AC issue. We just put those Nest thermostats in the house, and there was some sort of wonky thing going on with the wiring. So my wife is playing around with that. I hope she doesn't cut the cord. She did that to me last time. I think you remember that, like a couple streams ago or whatever. She cut the internet for a few minutes. So
okay.
My marriage is riding on this. So
well, let me know in the comment section if Dustin's internet actually kind of went out while he was talking about that, because on my end, it looked like it started to stall. I promise. Not even joking. Not even joking.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk a bit about your eBay experience because I'm excited to share mine. But what's going on your end?
Well, I think we kind of have an identical experience. It's just I'm hoping that mine ends kind of the way that yours did. So do you want to tell yours first and then I'll piggyback off that?
Sure, let's do it. Okay.
All right.
So about a month and a half ago, I sent out this BGS 9.5 2004 Fleer USA LeBron James. It's a nice card. It's the second year of LeBron. It's his first USA card, I think. But it's not expensive. So it was about a $25 card raw, but I bought this for maybe $150 in a BGS 9.5 and sold it for, I think, 300, something like a 2x, 2x. And the buyer was in Canada. And so, of course, when it goes to Canada, it goes through eBay's international shipping program, and then it has to go through customs and whatnot. And so I get this request from eBay saying, your buyer has requested a refund, saying that the item never arrived. And I'm like, man, what the hell? Let me look, right? First step is to look at the tracking information to see if it's arrived, to see if maybe they're trying to pull something over you or whatever happened. And the last update was like March 3rd. It said something like March 3rd, cleared customs, attempted delivery March 8th, and that's it. And then just blank. And so you have 3 days to fight it before they I guess step in and maybe just make a judgment on make a decision on the side of the plaintiff, on their end. And so on the last day, because I was just busy, I called eBay and I said, hey, what do I do? Right? I sent this card. I have video of me packing it, but more importantly, I have it in the system. It's sent out. And what am I supposed to do? Because I don't think that they're lying. I think that they did not receive the card, but I feel like someone's going to lose out. And so the lady was really nice. She said, thank you for being a top eBay seller. This happens from time to time, but because it looks like you did your job and it cleared customs and it's on our shipping side, it's with us, we're going to refund the buyer, but not out of your pocket. So you'll keep your money and we're going to refund the buyer, but please just check up on USPS, see if they can get the card delivered anyway. I'm like, $300 that I did not expect. I will take that. I thought eBay would say, so sorry, you should have had insurance on it, and either refund them or, you're going to get bad review and we're going to take the money anyway. So I'm very, very happy about that.
I don't know if mine is going to go quite like that, and this is kind of tricky. I can tell like two stories here because basically mine it's domestic, just regular old, shipping, USPS. It's about $180 card, so it's not a $30 card. It's still a decent loss. But basically on the tracking, it just shows it kind of like leaving my post office and then nothing else from about 10 days ago. But I've noticed I was looking at a couple of other orders that I have, stuff I'm waiting on, and there's like similar tracking stuff. So I don't know if it's just like USPS is just slow right now. Like they're
bad. Yeah. USPS. Yeah. Guys, if you have a PO box somewhere or like every post office I go to says that they're understaffed and everyone's quitting and is sick from COVID and whatnot. So and when you go to USPS's website, I think it says, please expect ridiculous delays, So I think it's like a gigantic mess.
So I think, and the guy or gal, I guess, they did file a ticket on me, as kind of like, I haven't received my item. And I just uploaded the tracking just to show that I did ship it, but I don't have a video or anything like that.
But wait, hold on. When you shipped it, the tracking should be in there already if you print out an eBay label. Did you not?
I don't do it like that. I just go to the post office and just talk to a human. That's just how
I mean, the eBay label is so easy. I put it on and I still have to check it in to someone unless I want to risk it. But usually I go to the counter anyway just to check it in. But it's like $3 to ship around the country, like maybe $3.50 if it's just a card. It has to be more if you're doing it.
Not everybody has to do it like you, Brad. We can just do it.
We can do it. Not everyone has to do it the right way.
We can do our own things, okay? We can do our own thing.
So what do you say? Like, hey, well, I want to pretend it's like 1994. Well, what size box should I get for this card right here, dude? Maybe it's because you're not selling at the volume at which I was a few months ago when I had that submission, and it was literally sometimes 8 or 10 packages in a day, and I would never be able to go through that whole process, but.
I mean, I'm not selling a lot of $9 cards, Brad. So I don't have 20 packages.
No, they're not $9. They should have been $9. They turned out being $50 and $70 and $100 cards. So I lucked out there.
So yeah, I don't have insurance. And, for me, like, it's kind of, if it's like 150 and over, a lot of times I'll insure it, but sometimes I won't. I just kind of,
I let it ride. I mean,
I do too. If it's 200 plus, I'll insure it. I'll insure it.
This actually brings up an interesting point, because the more I think about how much I have to cross my fingers with not really eBay, but USPS. It's really USPS, and then just hoping the buyer is a legitimate buyer and not like someone sketchy. And I
like Mike's comment there. Yeah, guys. Hey, for the record, it only takes 11 stamps to send one first class card. So just so you know, it's only 11.
11. Oh my God, man.
I don't use stamps.
Seriously though, like, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all the things here, FedEx or UPS, and the way it's going now is, look, USPS is not very good, right? Like, we've heard for years, they're losing money every year. They're just not efficient. And when these cards are 150, 200, 300, $500, it's to the point where I get nervous when I send out a card. I really do, because I feel like I'm not a gambler. I don't gamble on rookies or any of that. But my biggest risk, my biggest gamble is when I ship cards out with USPS. And I'm like, I hope to God it gets there, because sometimes they arrive, or they arrive for me, cards that I ordered, and the tracking's not even updated. It'll just say label created, shipped out, and then it disappears. And all of a sudden I have the package, but there was nothing to prove that it arrived. So if I told eBay that it didn't arrive, the evidence actually shows that it just got lost somewhere. So that means that, like, there's a lot of holes with USPS. But the point of it is, the more I scale up, like, I think it's better to get more higher end cards, because now even when I buy through PWCC on eBay and it says $15 shipping, $25 shipping, even though that's a lot, it's only a lot on a $100 card or $500 card. But when it's at $600, $800, what is $10 or $15 shipping for it to be insured and safe, versus you send out these cheaper cards and 1 out of 20 is going to be asked for a refund and didn't arrive, and it kind of wipes out your profit on a bunch of others. So I'm starting to feel more like I need to go with higher shipping insurance or whatever, a better company. But the only way to easily justify it is just higher end cards.
So if you're selling $500 and up cards, would you still do it the USPS way, or would you go FedEx or something instead?
I don't know. I think if it's USPS, I would just have to add the insurance.
Yeah, because I always add the insurance for sure. Like, if it's an expensive card, I add the insurance for it. Anything that's like 200 plus.
But you know what I will say? In terms of, like, people give me a hard time for living in California where it's expensive. For one, it's awesome. The sun is great. I get to go outside all the time. Two is the card. There are so many card shows here. There's literally 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. It is blowing up to the point where I will be buying a lot on eBay, but then selling in person. And the reason I say that is because when I'm going around the card shows, typically what's being sold are cards that are higher in price, right? Like right now, when I go around, I don't see much vintage, because vintage is super low. So if you're one of these sellers, if you're a card shop vendor, you're like, well, why would I sell right now? Let me sell NBA playoff guys. Let me sell LaMelo and these guys. So the way I see it going forward is just buy from eBay, because I can get anything, and then sell in person, unless I can get a really good sale on eBay. But more than likely, I could sell in person and not have to worry about any of the logistics. So if you're in a big city, something to consider is that either that or just Dallas show or like a regional show every month.
Yeah. I'm going to go. There's a show in Virginia, not this weekend, but the next weekend I'm going to go. Meet up with Flip and Steve out there, and maybe Ziggy. We'll see.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely vlog. I don't know if we've seen anything except for the plain wall behind your head the entire time. Apparently you moved into like a 14-bedroom house with, like all these. I have a wall unit AC. I have, like, literally, I'm looking at my wall AC unit, and I don't think there's enough, what's it called, Freon?
Yeah.
The stuff that keeps it cold. Yeah, I don't think there's enough in
before they changed it to like R20 or whatever the hell it is. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm out of R20.
Refrigerant.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Well, anyway, let's move on. Let's talk a bit about PSA's news. We'll touch on that a bit. And I saw your video going over it. I heard it from others, but I'm not the first one to hear about it. So in a nutshell, PSA acquires this AI company, and then what do you think they're going to use it for, and how do you think this affects PSA as well as the other grading companies?
Well, the big piece of like on my video, the one thing that I was talking about that I thought that I extracted from an interview that Nat Turner did recently with Kevin. I don't remember the guy's last name. It's the guy that owns Geminant or whatever the name of that company is. Mm-hmm. They were both on this podcast that I found. The one thing they were talking about that I thought was awesome. And look, and you know that I don't do, like, I buy raw, sell raw, buy graded, sell graded. I'm not a guy that buys raw, sends them in for grading and does that bit. I would like to, but I don't trust my grading eye with cards. I've watched enough of your videos, that Kobe video, to where I'm like, that's going to be me, except it'll probably be PSA 4s or whatever. So, I'm like, I don't really trust myself to be able to get this right. The one thing they were talking about, though, that was really interesting is they called it like collectible collection. They had a name for it. I should grab my notes, but essentially it would be a service, and they're, it's speculation, but this is kind of a goal of a possibility is for you to say, okay, I've got these 50 cards, and I don't know how they do like a high res scan, or they do something to where they can look at your cards and then tell you these 11 out of the 50 are worth sending to us if you're anticipating this grade, and Nat Turner was saying that what we want to try to avoid is people that find a collection. How many times do you get the question of, hey, I found my family's card, my family cards, how much are they worth? Every single day you hear that question. So it would be able to alleviate people that don't know anything about cards, and even people that are in the card market like me that don't really have a good grading eye, being able to take a bunch of raw cards and them say, okay, yeah, I think out of 30% of these are worth sending in if you're looking for at least a PSA 9, for example. And I don't know how they would do that, if it would be like a probability percentage or how they would do it. But Nat Turner was saying what we want to stop happening is people sending in cards they think are going to be PSA 9s that are PSA 2s, that come back, a lot lower, and then it's just kind of wasting everybody's time. So if they're able to kind of do that pre-grade up front, I think that would be amazing. I mean, that would be kind of a monster deal.
What's interesting about that is, for one, I remember thinking to myself 6 months ago, right, or like a year ago, why does PSA and the other grading companies not have their own YouTube channel coming out with content showing how to get high grades, right? Why? I mean, I understand it could be, hey, just send it in, we want your money, but the goodwill that you would develop just saying, hey guys, if you're thinking of sending in your cards, we want to help out and make sure that you're at least going to get what you expect. If you want to just get it slabbed, that's great. However, let's go over 10 of the most iconic cards and look for what grades an 8, a 9, and a 10. Anything lower than that, whatever. But now, okay, if you use AI, that's definitely good for them to be able to go through this process quicker and eliminate a lot of these cards, and just someone making a YouTube video about how they made a huge $3,000 mistake and then making the company look bad out of their own mistake and their own frustration. So
I'm glad you brought this up, because I have 2 new sponsors I'm adding to the channel, PSA and BGS. So yeah, we go.
Yeah, there it is. Well, you do have that sponsor, Otis, and I'm like, I don't even know if I could land Otis Redenbacher popcorn, and you're landing like trading platforms. So the other thing I was thinking is, I had this fear, and it's not like a big fear, but it's more of like this concern that what happens if I have this $5,000 amazing card, right? Or let's just say it's a LeBron James PSA 10, and someone steals it. Someone steals the card, and they know that, look, the number's traceable. Maybe there's going to be a police report. Maybe that. What if they just say, well, let me just crack it and then resubmit it? What I'd love is some sort of way that the technology can understand that this exact card has been graded. And maybe if it's in the system, if it was like a recently graded card, there's like a fingerprint of that card that's in their system that says this card was graded, and then this was the series, this was the number attached to it, and then it was reported stolen or missing or something like that. And then now we can track it, because if not, someone could just take it, submit it to BGS, or they could do whatever they want with it. But
that exactly. Yeah. Are you saying that that's what you heard them talking about?
No, I thought it would be,
because that's exactly what they want to do. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Not just for quality control in terms of, well, you got an 8 the last 3 times, and now you're trying to get a 9, and this card has already been graded an 8. But I'm talking about, hey, this card was this is the card we have in our system with that fingerprint that was a PSA 9, and we want to prevent it, people being able to steal cards and then crack them and resubmit. So I guess it hits both points, but I think that was more the angle that I thought of.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be able to track cards better in that way. Yeah, and they did say, they also did mention in that podcast fraud and combating fraud. So there is kind of an IT security element to all of this too. It's not just about improving grading. It's also about stopping people from replicating their slabs and doing exactly what you're saying, stealing cards. And they're trying to combat all those things, with these moves.
Here's a question from Business 124 asking about the AI PSA 10 compared to the original. There shouldn't be. They did. They
did address this. They were asked this question in that podcast. And essentially their viewpoint is they don't believe that they should be looked at any differently, whether it be the new AI graded or, an old, a regular old PSA graded card. They don't view it, but what's going to happen. It doesn't really matter what they say. The market's going to dictate that. We're all going to dictate that. It might be that me and you are more comfortable with an AI assisted one. There might be people that are like, nah, I don't, I want the old stuff. I want like ones that humans looked at. And then there's going to be guys that are like, I don't care, grading's a scam. I hate grading. Yeah. I don't want any graded cards. I just want the card, so I think the market will dictate all those things.
I mean, I wonder if I send in a really good looking PSA 9 that was graded by hand, and then I say, hold on a second, I think this deserves a 10 or an 8 going up to a 9. I wouldn't want the fingerprint to say, hold on, this was graded really hardly, like really strictly, one grade lower. And even though we've graded cards higher with the AI, we're not going to do it. Because to me, that'd be like, come on, the card should speak for itself versus the history of the card, right? Ooh, this was a BPS 9.5 before. No, it can't be a PSA 10. How about throw that out the window? Here is the card. What is it? That, like, to me, that's all I want, is not relative to what a grader had judged it to be 8 years ago, but what is it right now in this condition, and then let that decide. But
well, and you raised
find you. Said, did Dustin finish his story? I don't know if you did. I was distracted by your haircut, so I just kind of went on that tangent. Was there an update?
So yeah, I mean, they filed the complaint that they haven't received it. I responded back with the tracking information again because I'd already uploaded the tracking information. I don't know if I should also follow up with eBay as well, because and this is kind of the tough thing. It's like everyone's kind of screwed in this situation. Like, I feel bad for the buyer if he didn't get it. And as a seller, I'm out the card and the money. If but this happened to me. The other side of that story is this happened to me a couple months ago on an 89 score Troy Aikman PSA 9. I never got the card. And, I just wrote back to him and I was just like, hey, look, I'm not going to, I don't even know if I would have won the dispute or not as a buyer. I have no idea. But I just said, look, I never got the card, but I would, if I sell cards too, if I was on the other end, I wouldn't want to have to, lose the card and the money. So I'm just going to eat this one, and like it happens, it'll be a loss,
So, I mean, look, I will say this. I've been on customer service with eBay several times, and they're always pretty nice. They've always been very nice to me. Now, I do say, hey, my name's Dustin. I have this YouTube channel called The Personal Finance Dad, and I will put you on blast. But then they really just perk up. They're like, oh, okay, of course. But I will say that it is not a tough process being on the phone with eBay. Like, it's actually been, they'll do like the call back in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. I'm like, all right, just call me and then let me go through the process. And I've not had a bad experience, but I was about to just refund the buyer. I was about to say, I'll eat the cost, even though I knew I did my part. And so the fact that eBay looked at my sales history, and I think they said, or they like implied, all right, this person sells a lot. We'd rather just give him the good experience and refund it out of our end than if I was a brand new seller. I think that did help, to be honest.
Okay.
I want to move on to your haircut, but what do you want to say?
Oh no, I mean that's just kind of where I'm at with it. So I don't know how it's going to play out. I'll find out in a couple of days though.
Okay. Well, hold on one second. I have, and we'll go over the cards that we've been buying and a couple of the thoughts behind it. But this is right here. This was a screenshot that Mark Speltz sent to me with when you were on Andy, the Fantasy Football Card Quest station. So I'm going to show it now. And what I'm about to show you is the actual screenshot as well as a doctored up photo. And I don't know, I did such a good job with Photoshop that I can't even tell the two apart. So let me know in the comment section if you know which one is the real one and which one is the one I Photoshopped. So let's take a look here. Okay, so there's Andy. Now again, this could be the original. This could be the Photoshopped one. Andy responding to Dustin's haircut. And then the other shot right here, I don't know if you know the difference.
Oh, yeah, definitely the one on top. Yeah, you Photoshopped it.
It was the necklace I added. It was the necklace. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I got to send that to my wife. That is classic.
I think we all need to screen share this right now, screenshot it and share it around.
I might have to put this on Instagram or something. Can you put that back so I can take a pic of it?
Yeah. All right. Hold on a second.
That is hilarious, man.
See, this is what I do in my free time.
This is what Brad did all day today.
Well, you know what's funny is I've done so many of these memes that this was only about 7 or 8 minutes. And obviously it's not that well done, but
that's classic. I'm going to send that to my wife.
And do you know who that is?
No. Who is it?
Anyone know who that is? Let me see. I want to see if anyone in the comment section knows who that is. All right. Well, I'll let y'all write it, and we'll see if who gets it correct. But I had to search this person up because I'm like, who has hair like Dustin that would be embarrassed? It would be very embarrassing if I put his face on. There it is. On her body. It was Miley Cyrus.
Oh, Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus circa 2016. So what's up, Hobby Box? What's up, Boris? All right. So let's talk about a couple recent purchases. And you've been buying what? You sent me a couple different cards. You want to go over them?
Yeah, let me pull it up in my history here, my eBay history. Guys, I've been just continuing on. I'll just read them off. That's probably just easier. It's well, actually, no. I picked up a Brett Favre card today. So this is kind of interesting. I don't know. And for football card people, maybe you can help me out here, but so I'm looking at like exquisite because I'm thinking like 2003 LeBron James exquisite, $2 million card. Exquisite is expensive. So today, actually, I bought a Brett Favre numbered out of 75 maximum jersey patch, $40, $45. And it's from, what year is it? Why is the year not on this? Did I actually buy a real card? Is it a
real card?
Is this a fake card? Did I just buy it?
Is it just drawing on a napkin?
Actually, this dude did not put the year on it. So, yeah, he might have made this in his basement for all that I know. Hold on. Let's see.
That's 1-of-1.
No, 2006. 2006.
Okay.
So, I think 2005 was the first year of exquisite football.
When did Brett Favre retire? Was he like 2010 or something? No, I guess.
No,
Aaron Rodgers was 2006, his rookie card.
2010, yeah, because he played for the Jets after he played for the Vikings.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, forget about that.
But I've been picking up Tom Brady. It's all Tom Brady still. I'm picking up kind of just like random things. National Treasures 2015. I picked up a couple more of his rookies, Pacific, 2000 Pacific rookies, PSA 8s. Another 2007 Exquisite, 2002 Topps Chrome. Picked up one because that's first year Topps Chrome football.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what's the big push with Tom Brady? I mean, obviously it's very safe long term. But why now? Like, and versus like why Tom Brady right now versus everyone else that you could be investing in?
You know, and I could be doing different things. I could be buying basketball right now. Some would argue basketball would be, probably the way to go with prices being down. But I just want to, because he really solidified to me, I don't think that anyone will ever touch his stats or his Super Bowl victories. I just don't think it's going to happen. And even though I know people are saying like, hey, we're moving to a 17-game season, so that means an extra game for stats for a guy like Mahomes. I get that. I understand that, but I still don't think it's going to matter. I don't, maybe Mahomes will get close, but I don't think anyone touches Brady. I think his legacy is intact. He's got the TB12 stuff. I think post football, he's going to be successful in business and everything else he's going to do. It's not like he's just going to go away. So to me, it's like the safest guy outside of Michael Jordan. And that's the reason why I'm buying a lot of his stuff. And part of it is because I had literally nothing, Brad. So think of it from that. It's not like I'd been picking up stuff throughout the years and then now I'm kind of just, going nuts on it. I had zero. And so now I'm like, okay, this has kind of solidified this for me. And so I want to go kind of big on it. And so, that's kind of, and what I do is I go on little tangents where I'm buying 80s basketball for 2 months and then I'm buying Tom Brady for 2 months. And then, I'm kind of going here and there.
Well, we could tell because the videos just go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Tom Brady. What I'm buying Tom Brady football. I'm picking out, and then you have 9 videos in a row. That's all vintage pickups, and we see your journey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the channel name is changing to Tom Brady's Cards,
featuring Dustin.
Yeah. So for me, I'm just trying to get caught up on a lot of the stuff.
I'm still thinking to myself how you should have named it Collecting Dustin. I mean,
it's not bad.
It's not. It's good. It's short and sweet. But anyway, so I love the Tom Brady's. The Exquisite was what year?
So the one I bought a 2007, and that was one that I had sent to you because I might have overpaid for it.
Let's hear it and then put in the comment section. So yeah, go over all of it.
It is the 2007. Hold on one second. It's a PSA 7. So it's not it's obviously not highly graded, but they're all very limited. I mean, it's not like, they're all very, very limited. Hold on. Let me just get to it real quick. 2007.
The screen? Or no?
It might be easier for me to do it that.
Yeah. Share the screen. And I think I have to allow it, but just try it.
Hold on. I was doing it on my phone. So let me just.
Never prepared.
Everybody hang in. This is going to be a 3-hour live stream.
Okay. Yeah. I'll entertain the audience. The Optic Downtown Tom Brady is amazing. That is probably my favorite card to see him in Tampa Bay uniform, but also all of these Buccaneer and Tampa related stuff in the background. I thought was phenomenal. I like that was a card that I go, man, I would want to have it and never let it go. But I'm also not in that price point for PC cards.
Okay.
Here's give me the loot. People go crazy on rookies after one game. I mean, actually, after being drafted. I think that's what's so fun about the hobby is that it's so emotional that people overreact. And as long as you're not one of the people overreacting, it's very easy. All right. So what do you got?
I'm having some weird eBay thing going on. So basically, here's what it is. It's a 2007, 2008 Tom Brady Upper Deck Exquisite PSA 7. It's numbered out of 150, which is basically the base card. There are, variations. And so this is probably the most common card from that set for him. But the other ones, I mean, it's the most common, but it's numbered out of 150.
So you paid about what, 500 you said?
And I paid 475. Yeah. Plus shipping. Yeah. I paid $500 for it.
All right. Were there any other sales of that card recently or no?
I couldn't find comps. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't find comps. That's kind of the problem with cards like that. It's limited, so you're not going to see a lot of them. But Exquisite is kind of the cream of the crop, set. So and I don't own any Exquisite, really any at all. So I picked up a couple between the Brett Favre and the Brady. I thought that would be just kind of a long-term, cool card to have.
Well, the thing is, I want to answer this question right here from Danny as well. Most valuable card. I want you to answer it as well because I think it's a nice transition. But when I notice what you pick up, it's mostly long term anyway. I mean, are there any plays that you're looking for in 3 months, 6 months, a year, or is it like if it pans out in a year, that's great, but this is more of a 3-year, 5-year play?
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, I pick up guys. The guys that I flip are probably kind of more of the up and coming basketball guys. I've done some stuff. Also, QBs. I've flipped QBs. Sam Darnold's and Baker Mayfield's and stuff like that. I've done some of that over the last 18 months. And then for basketball, I've flipped, Jason Tatum's and Trey Young's and and stuff like that. I've sold some of my Lucas too that went up, just too much to where it's like, all right, I have like multiples of a card. I should probably sell this, even though I love
multiples.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to let go of cards when you have multiples. It's very difficult to let go of a card when you're on the fence. Like, it's a good profit, but man, we've seen some 10x and crazy returns. I'm only going to get 50% or 200% or whatever. But when you have multiples, man, it's easy. You're like, all right, I'm still getting 50% here. Let me wait and see. All right, I'm still getting 2x here. I like that approach.
I did sell a couple of Dwayne Wade rookies, kind of more like I wouldn't say lower end. I mean, they were like upper deck patch rookies that I had bought a year ago for $100. I sold them for about $300 or $400. So I kind of do little things here and there. But like Dwayne Wade was a guy where it's like, if I'm sitting on that card, I'm okay because he's got his legacy's already intact. So what I'm not doing is buying the the Brandon Clarks, or some of those like brand new NBA players and hoping that they kind of break out. I'm doing a lot less of that. I'm buying more of like established players, and then I'll sell where needed, where it makes sense.
Yeah. And it's funny because I like the best niche or the best like common ground for me is players that I'm good with long-term, but man, I could see something really cool happening short-term, because if I can sell short-term during the Super Bowl run or during hype around or trade, but if it doesn't pan out, I'm still good in 6 months or a year or 2 years. I think that's just the best. And Tom Brady was the perfect example. LeBron, Tom Brady, guys that, and especially if you get those cards that aren't the most obvious and popular, but you get like, you picking up a bunch of Tom Brady cards that aren't really on the radar now, but in 6 months or a year could definitely be on the radar, because Tom Brady's that collectible that it's not just limited to his Prism rookie, or, like a new guy would be his Prism rookie, or, his Optic rookie or things like that. So,
yeah, and on that kind of note too, if you look at like Michael Jordan's rookie card, obviously it's very valuable and a high grade. But if you look at like Jordan collectors, it's the rare 90s inserts that they really care about. They really like, they like the 86 Fleer. That's a classic iconic card, but it's the rare, jambalaya, 90s inserts and stuff that they're chasing. And I guess what I'm kind of betting on is that 10, 15, 20 years down the road, people are going to be doing the same with Tom Brady stuff. That it's not just going to be the rookie cards.
I mean, yeah, for Tom Brady, like he is the Jordan. He's likable for the most part. I think he's likable, obviously, as a Bucks fan, but I think a lot of people do like him, even if they're not Patriots or Bucks fans, because I've heard many people saying, oh, I don't really care about the Patriots, but I'm a Tom Brady fan, or I don't really care about the Bucks, but I'm a Tom Brady fan. So, let's go to this question here by Danny. So what's the most valuable card you own? And I know he didn't really want to ask you because no one cares, but for me, there is the Hakeem Olajuwon PSA 9, which I overpaid. I paid $1,400, and I think it's come down to about 11. And the lesson learned there was calm down. Cards can be falling like crazy, but I'm going to wait for them to stabilize a bit before buying, or I'm going to put an offer in at such a low price that I'm willing to forgo it stabilizing. It'll be a number that I go, man, that is so cheap that it was well worth it. But that was about $1,300 or so, $1,400. And then Russell Wilson Prism PSA 10, I have 5 of those, and that was $800 and something each. And I think the most expensive one I paid was about $1,250 or $1,300, but most of them were around $850. And I got a lot of cards in that range. And now I like that range of $500 to $1,000, where it's like I don't have to sell at a 2x profit to be happy, because if I make $150 on a card, that's still $150 profit on $500 or $700 versus playing that game of, well, I got to wait till it triples. Well, I mean, maybe it never triples, but $150 is still a decent profit.
Yeah.
What about you?
My most expensive card that I own right now, I don't think there's anything that I have higher. It's a Jim Brown rookie card in a PSA 3. It's worth right at about $1,400. I just actually looked up, checked the data tool, and it's right at about $1,400, $1,375, $1,400. I bought it for $230 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. That was one of the cards. I guess it's actually pushing 3 years now. that was one of the cards I bought getting back into the hobby. But you know what? I've got a lot of cards that I bought for $200 that are worth $600. You know, I bought for $400. They're sitting at $800 that I'm just sitting on.
Well, why are you sitting on these cards? Because I always feel like you've got to be worth like millions of dollars because you just buy all this stuff. And I'm like, are you selling at the same time, or is it just stockpiling for years and years?
I'm probably putting more money into, I'm definitely, putting more money in than I am harvesting, turning over. But I am still, selling and reinvesting, but I'm definitely putting more money in than I am reinvesting, if that makes sense. But yeah, the reason why I'm sitting on them is because they're 80s basketball, or they're vintage, whatever. And so there's a part of me, it's like, yeah, I could double my money, but it's a classic, these are classic cards that are scarce to some degree. I've got like, Pete Maravich rookie card in a PSA 6. I got that one for $200. It's worth about $1,000. So like, yeah, common sense, I guess, would say like sell that now. But then there's a part of me that's like, yeah, but there's just not, those cards are difficult to find, and so I'm just going to hold on to it. So yeah, I kind of have a lot of that.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. And, like the whole long-term thing scares me, right? I like the long-term, like the caliber of players and cards that are good long-term. But my concern still is what happens in 2 years, 3 years in the whole economy, right? What if the card market is booming and then the whole economy crashes and it's still doing well for a recession? Well, because if it's doing well for a recession, that still might mean the prices are half of what they are right now. And so that's more of my concern, where everything I buy, I want to be able to get out of in 6 months. Like, just because there's so much volatility. If I was in this hobby, let's say 2013, and I'd seen 5%, 10% growth every year, very steady, just something like very predictable, I would feel good about staying in a lot for 3-year holds, 5-year holds. But when I see how crazy the whole market is, even the long-term holds, I'm like a Jordan rookie card or a LeBron rookie, that's great right now. And yes, the card market can continue to grow, but if everything collapses, it could still just be a fun escapism, fun hobby with money in it, but still half the amount of money, and then everything gets split in half. So I think that's where I don't know. I need to be in the hobby longer to hold on to a card for several years, or want to, versus, okay, I can hold on to it for several years because it's Hakeem Olajuwon's rookie card. However, I'd much rather have a couple of reasons to get out of it in 3 or 6 months in case I feel like something bad is going to happen in the entire, economy, like macro economy.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about too, kind of that next cycle. So I know that's very long term. I mean, if you think about it, I'm thinking about the kids that are 8, 9, 10 years old right now that are going to, at some point, they're going to be 30, they're going to be 35, in 20 years. And I think that the whole thing will happen all over again,
Well, what's interesting about that, so you're saying that how old, 8, 9, 10-year-olds?
I think there's kind of that 8 to 15, 8 to 14, like how we were when we were kids doing it.
See, here's the thing. I would say that even though it's cool for kids, I think the difference now between us in 2021 versus us in 1994 is that as kids, it was cool. As teenagers, it was something that you forgot about, because there wasn't a cool factor to be 15 and 18 and 20 in sports cards. But there was a cool factor to be 8 and 10 and 11 and 12. But once you, at least for me, once it was high school, sports cards are like, yo, what are you doing, man? You got to save up for a car. You got to take this girl out for a date. You get, like, it was looked at like something for kids. But while now the money is so real, teenagers can look up to guys like Sasha, right? 20-year-olds can look up to guys, I don't know who else. I guess Sasha as well. But I mean, it's a much cooler hobby now. So that tells me that if you are a kid, you probably can't afford any of this unless your parents can afford to break with you, because we're not talking about a $20 box from Kmart like what I was used to. But if you are in that 13 to 15-year-old range, there's a lot of people to look up to, and you can actually make money on a small level and buy that car and to do these things while our generation, or at least my generation, would just forget about it once we hit 13.
Well, maybe Sasha T will be the next, Warren Buffett figure for that next generation. I mean, it's just, it's kind of like what you said. It's that, we don't know what the economy is going to look like in 20 years, 25 years. Everyone might be using Bitcoins, like we don't know how it's going to go, I mean, I don't know, but everybody is getting into assets to hedge against the US dollar. A lot of the, the $500,000 Michael Jordan PSA 10 rookie cards. Part of that is because they want to have a valuable asset that, regardless of whatever the currency is, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but they're hedging against mass inflation, because it might not be worth as many dollars, but how much ETH is it worth? How much Bitcoin is it worth? How much,
Right.
And then you can barter that. Oh, okay. Well, you have something very valuable that's scarce that I want. What do you want for it? I want this house for it, or whatever, I mean, and I think people are just hedging.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing. I mean, I think of it like Tiffany's or Rolex, or some brands that, if to have a Michael Jordan rookie card, it's kind of like having a Louis Vuitton purse, or a Louis Vuitton. I don't know what else they make, some other stuff, but like fancy stuff where people could show off the fact that they have these cards and have these items where even if it doesn't do anything on its own, there's no practical use, it's still of value because it puts you in that next status, next to like, it's like, wow, this person has a BMW, or this person has a Michael Jordan rookie card. So I see that. Real quick, I wanted to show you the graph of the card I bought 5 of. So Monday, when I was looking at all these auctions, I had about 16 auctions I was watching throughout the day, and I was bidding on all of them, and I didn't win a single one until about 9 o'clock at night Pacific time. And there were 5 of this exact card that I bought. And I'm not going to say the card. Dustin knows what it is. I want to save it for an upcoming mail day. But if you can guess it based on the chart, that's fine. I'd rather just show you my latest purchase. Like, you'll see my purchase on here. So
yeah, for once, I actually like this one. I do know the card. I'm not going to say what it is.
Yeah. But I will say this is what I liked, because I was looking at the card.
This was actually a good one, I think.
So yeah, and this is just a screenshot. So you'll see here around April or May of last year, it was around about $600, just over 600. And then that giant spike we saw in August went up over $1,200. Then everything softened in September, October, November, and then it took off because it is a Hall of Famer. So I will say that's the hint. But if you see here, the prices went up to $1,800 and then even almost $2,400. And this last purchase right here, this was $710 was one of them, but I got 5 more, all within $50. So that was me at the very end, and I'll reveal that in a mail week. And actually, in my newsletter that I'll send out tomorrow, I'll include it. I just want to make it special. But I like, that's the kind of stuff I like, because if you take a look at where I bought it, that dot right there on the far right, that is the same price as where we were a year ago. And to me, that's a lot safer, because I know there's more money in the hobby now than there was this time last year.
I agree. I like that card that you got. That was a good play, I think. I want to answer Will Sani's.
Yeah, go for it.
Dustin, now is the time to buy that 7 Jordan you've been lusting after. I think it's not quite time yet, Will. I agree. Like, the prices have come down. I was looking at a really, really nice PSA 7 Jordan rookie at a show in August. No. It was October. So 6 months ago, not that long ago, and it was $44,000. And I don't know where they're sitting right now. I guess I could take a quick look at it. But I think that there's still a little bit of room on that Jordan rookie card.
Well, here's the one thing I will say. Anything that is vintage or 80s, 90s, 2000s, anything like that, I do not want to touch, or newer, or like modern. I don't want to touch anything below a 9. And the reason being is because even the Jordan 7, I wonder if more of those are going to come out. And maybe it is a good time overall, but my whole concern is, if I'm worried about what's going to flood the market, I know that all the modern, ultra modern is going to come out. I know that the PSA 10s of cards are going to be a lot tougher to find, but the 8s and the 7s and even some 9s will be going up like crazy. So I would rather stick my searches, or limit my searches to 9s and 10s of the Hall of Famers and the older guys. So at least I know that those numbers are going to be pretty similar. But I bet though, if you track a PSA 8 of a Kobe Bryant rookie card, it's been doubling, and it will double, and it'll grow like 10x over the next year. That's my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my feeling.
Yeah, I just looked at that Jordan 7 and it's at about $6,800. So it's still, I mean, it's still up there. And to be honest, I mean, they printed a lot of 86 Fleer. They printed a lot of them. One of the guys in the chat, another guy like Steve, I saw him in there flipping Steve. He tells me how they used to have 86 Fleer at the grocery store. It was there all day, every day. But my point is that there's a lot of there's not a lot of PSA 10 Michael Jordan rookies, but overall there's a lot of graded Michael Jordan rookies. There's a lot of inventory. So I'll get one, but I'm going to wait. Especially for a 6 or 7. Those are going to be out there.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw a couple comments here, and I did see one about Starstock, so I want to at least mention Starstock. I don't know too much on it. I don't think you use Starstock much. Do you, Dustin?
I've done a little bit on Starstock. Frankly, I want to do more on it, especially with football cards, because I was talking to some of my buddies on it. I don't know if right now is a great buying time for football on the platform, but I do want to get involved. I like how you can kind of get in and out of cards quickly. I like their platform, so I'm trying to learn more and do more on it.
And okay, I saw a super chat by Dexflow. I appreciate you, Dex. And I'll throw your question up here in a second. I wanted to look up here real quick. Someone mentioned Shaq, and this was my other purchase. So Shaq, undervalued, buy, just like Justin Timberlake would say. And then Shaq, Christian Laettner. Are you the real Christian Laettner? Are you like the one that played? Are you like, who did he play for? Was it like
We're famous. We got the Duke Blue Devils, Christian Laettner.
Who did he play for in the NBA, though?
He played for the Timberwolves, didn't he?
Oh, I thought so.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't like a major.
He played for a few teams, though.
Okay. So anyway, this was the other card I bought. Let's see if that'll show. Kind of blurry, kind of tough. 92 members only Stadium Club Gemmin 10. So PSA 10. And I told you I paid $430 for it. So what's your thoughts there?
What's the pop on the 10?
On here, I'll show the screen right now. And the one thing that's interesting, I will say this, is I pulled up this card on Market Movers, and my purchase, hold on, that's not it. Oh, that's not it either. Hold on. There we go. My purchase isn't registered yet. So maybe it went on another variation, but the pop says 121.
Wow.
So that's why I was like 121. I don't think there are going to be too many more PSA 10s of this members only. I do see the prices here at $400, 277, 305. But then when this year started, $899. Like, I don't understand. This one went all the way up to 2,000, 1,500, 880, 850. And then if I go here, let me see if I have it. Yeah, take a look. Members only, $430, and that includes shipping.
Yeah, I kind of like this one. I hate to agree with you, but I don't mind that one. I like that because I agree. I mean, Shaq is one of those guys. It's like legacy is already in place. He's funny. He's on TV. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, it's disappointing, Dex. It's disappointing that Steve flipped on me, if you will. He flipped to the other side.
Flipped you off.
Yeah. It's like you think you have friends and then you don't have them. You learn that.
Well, so you're welcome, because I got to show you what side Steve was really on. He's on my side. But
it's funny. I introduced Steve to Brad, and I cut myself out of that whole picture.
Yeah. The whole time I was like, yes. Next week, it's going to be off-centered with flipping Steve. And it's just like our show goes down the toilet. You've been replaced.
Just photoshopped over with my haircut.
Hey, I'm good at it. In fact, I'd love to put that haircut on flipping Steve. I think that would be entertaining. But I will say, yeah, with Shaq, Tom Brady, these guys where it's like, look, I don't want vintage to the point where we don't know who they are or when they'll be recognized next. Like, all right, for example, if I'm going to invest in a retired player, in a Hall of Famer, I want him to be I want there to be reason why they will be mentioned, not just I know they're good, they've won rings, because this is like an attention-based market right now. It is like, who are people talking about? Who are the YouTubers, the podcasters, everyone talking about? And even when we saw the spike of the 90s and Hall of Famers, if that didn't last as long as it did, I don't know if it would have reached guys like Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and those. If it's going to start, it's going to start with Jordan and then Kobe and some of the others, Tom Brady or John Elway, some of the other guys. But it would have to last a long time for it to trickle all the way down to Derek Fisher and Robert Ory. And like when people are like, man, everything's going up. Well, maybe a 9th-year Kobe card and maybe the 5th best teammate he had, and but if it's going to be short-lived, then I just want the guys that people are going to think about first.
Yeah, I mean, I think we also need to remember too, everyone is looking for kind of that instant gratification and just forgetting that. Think about Michael Jordan cards going back to the Last Dance documentary, how much they shot up from where they were leading up to that documentary. And now those prices kind of pale in comparison to where they are now. And there is no documentary and there's nothing, I mean, so I think if you do take more of kind of that longer term approach for some of these guys, I mean, yeah, nothing is completely safe. Obviously, everything can go to zero, obviously, but it can, I think it will stabilize and then we will see kind of that trickle up. But if we do have that new floor for a lot of these guys, then then it's in good, it's all in good shape. But the one thing that I agree with you on is, if it just seems a lot safer to me to go with kind of it's GOATs, if you will. But if you're going with just random Hall of Famers, you have to kind of ask yourself, is there that demand for that particular Hall of Famer? Is that set important? Are there collectors looking for those particular Hall of Famers? If you're looking to flip cards, if you're collecting like I collect a lot of vintage Hall of Fame football rookie cards. I've got Howie Long rookie cards, which not technically vintage, it's 84 tops, but 80s vintage, Hall of Fame guys. I've got Marcus Allen rookie cards. I don't know how many people are looking for Marcus Allen rookie cards. So that's kind of the collector meets the investor piece. But should I buy 5 Marcus Allen rookie cards or should I just get a Jim Brown rookie card? Probably get a Jim Brown rookie card, but I mean, and that's kind of the decision we all have to make.
Yeah. It's interesting as it all pans out and evolves. I mean, just from that last spike in January, February, now I'm open to buying vintage and Hall of Fame for flipping, not just for long-term collecting. Now that I see that if prices go so low on them that someone on YouTube or someone podcaster or Gary Vee or someone else says, man, people are paying a lot of money for Tyler Hero and and Justin Herbert, and yet John Elway is $400 for a PSA 9 and whatever other player. Just that is enough. So I definitely, that's my approach from now on. Let me see what else I had to talk about. I know we're wrapping up in the next 10-15 minutes. Oh, special thanks to David Hunter. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. David Hunter is many of you guys know him already. He is in the Boston, Massachusetts area looking for work in supply chain logistics, but he is helping me put together my weekly newsletter. So thank you, David. If anyone knows of a job in that area, definitely let me know and I'll pass it on to David.
Oh, I've got a question for you, Brad.
Yep.
So you know how I have like my intro with my guy?
You mean the coffee?
No. The animated one. The animated intro.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got back in touch with my animator guy, and we're going to be doing kind of announcement here. This is breaking news. Michael Ham always coming in for me. I appreciate it, man.
I do see a strand on the right side that's sticking up. I do see a straggler. Okay, go on.
But we're going to do some like animated stuff, like animated shorts of the character. So I'm working on that. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to intertwine that into videos, but that's kind of a fun thing that I think will add some entertainment. I'm going to try to make them funny. I was thinking about having a Brad animation,
hell yeah.
I'm working on it.
See if he could do one just for our, I always forget the name of the show, Off-Centered. Yeah. I'm like, we've only done it twice. All right. And it's been, 2 weeks before. That would be amazing to do one. But I thought you were just going to say in the video, I'm just going to make sure that my cartoon version is even more jacked. just
Yeah,
because
that's one problem I have with my animator is, can we put some muscles on the guy? Like, I'm not this like shrimpy guy that he's got in my animation, you know?
you know what's funny is I forgot who put this comment up at the very beginning saying, have we met in person? And the answer is no. But the one thing that always goes through my mind is Dustin 4'9" or 6'11"? I know he's one of the two.
I'm like a Shaq build, you know, no big deal.
But Shaq as a toddler or Shaq right now?
No, I'm 6 foot, $190.
I don't know why. I just thought that's funny. I keep wanting to say First Take for some reason. Like, I don't even watch that show anymore, but yeah, that's what I want to say.
One day this show will be on like ESPN or one of the stations.
Hey, that's the goal, guys. That's the goal. Yeah. And we figured that on Inside the NBA on TNT, all they do is make fun of each other and somehow everyone loves it. So I'm just going to make fun of Dustin. I need to actually hire that hairstylist or just pay you to always go to that hairstylist and then have them come up with something new.
I've got an interesting haircut where it's like, yeah, I have my bald spot is just on this side of my head. Just balding on this side. That's it. I've got this nice wave that goes over on the other side.
That'd be hilarious. There's going to be a point where barbers have to shave in cards or like Prism logos or something like that in someone's hair. I'd like to see that personally.
I need to do like PFD in the side. You know,
yeah, there you go. Like there you go.
It's all about branding.
Okay, real quick. The National, I know that's up in the air. Do you have any take on what's going to happen with the National? Is it going to happen? Is it not? Do you have a gut feeling?
I was talking to my wife about this. So we are contemplating actually doing Dallas instead of doing the National because I just have this feeling that it's not going to happen. I don't know why. And also I just want to get plans in place. I want to get to a big show. So I think we might just do like July in Dallas as opposed to doing maybe October in Chicago. And maybe we're able to pull off both. You know, We'll see. I'm not really sure. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so my plan is definitely to go to the upcoming, not the one in May, but the one after in Dallas, no matter what. That's my goal because I have a lot of football. And I see a couple comments here about what we're buying or what we think is happening. I'm buying so much football now because I want to offload it in late June, July, August, whenever the prices are there, I'm happy with. I want to move it, but that's going to be in a couple months. And the Dallas show, not this one, but the next one would be perfect timing. I'm still thinking of going to this upcoming Dallas show just because flights are really cheap from here. I don't know if flights are as cheap for you, but flights are dirt cheap. Hotels in the area are very cheap as well. And I would hate to not go to the Dallas show at to this sooner one because I'm assuming that I'll be going to the National and then the National either gets canceled or postponed. I would say postponed is very likely. But man, if it's in October, Chicago is cold in October. I don't know if COVID cases are going to go back up, even with all the vaccines and everything.
That's what I was saying. Like you're starting to enter into flu season at that point. If they go like October to December, then it's like, is it going to be any better in December? Probably not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I wanted to touch on that, and then also in terms of what have you noticed this month? Any patterns? Anything that you want to mention in terms of what your sales have been like, your purchases, what you're seeing is really high, really low?
I mean, there's so much opportunity. Here's the thing that's really kind of tough for me is whether we're talking about NBA Top Shot or we're talking about football cards or basketball cards. I don't collect baseball cards, so I don't know where modern baseball is right now or vintage baseball for that matter. But, you know, modern basketball is just like staring at you in the face. Like the prices are low compared to where they have been. It's always in comparison to where they have been. So let's just kind of put that out there. I'm not saying they're low, you know, but where they've been over the last 12 months, it's hard for me not to think that it's not a buying opportunity. With a lot of the ultra modern stuff, though, I think that a lot of people are just holding their breath on that PSA backlog. I know that I am. I mean, if there's millions of cards sitting there, then we don't know what they are, but we're hearing that a lot of them are ultra modern. I'm not in a big hurry to go buy 2018 and newer. I'm just not. You know, so that's where I'm buying like exquisite Tom Brady stuff or exquisite Brett Favre or whatever, because they're rare. And, you know, so I think that that's where my focus has been. I'm kind of in the same boat with 80s football and basketball. I want to see what those pop reports look like in the next 6, 9, 12 months, but I plan on buying more of it. I plan on buying more of all that stuff. I'm just kind of being fairly picky right now, but I also might be kicking myself looking back at some of the pricing on a lot of these guys, a lot of this modern basketball, and not even modern basketball. I mean, what's Anthony Davis Prism PSA 10 going for these days? I mean, he hasn't played in 2 months. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we had talked about that previously, if it was down to $1,000 or something, might be worth jumping on. I'm going to look at that while we're actually just talking here.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw it was around $1,600 or $1,800 for Anthony Davis, but pull it up.
All right, it's $1,800, $2,000. So okay, they're not cheap. They're not cheap.
Well, here's the thing: it's also an interesting time in the season where it's decision time. Who's going to make a deep playoff run and who won't? Because if you assume that, all right, if you're out of the playoffs, why would their cards go up right after that? So it's pretty much what is the cutoff? I'm not looking for any new basketball. I think when offseason comes, Zion will be one of my biggest focuses because I like what I've seen from him this year. He stayed healthy up to this point, but also the pop reports should be a bit rounded out a bit more. So I'll be looking at not just Prism, but let's see what parallels are out there, because if Zion's printed, if there's 20,000 of his PSA 10 Prism base cards, let's see what the green is going for. Let's see what the silver, let's see what something rarer is going for when it's on sale, when it's off season. And the Pelicans aren't going to make the playoffs, it doesn't look like. So that would be one of my.
Yeah, I mean, it actually could be really good timing. If you think about summer modern basketball, and the reason why I say this is because PSA, from what I've heard from just people in the community, PSA is starting to get Andy, what's up, dude?
I'm looking like Dustin's cartoon, who he aspires to actually.
You're looking like how I am in real life, okay? That's my that was my pre-pandemic body. I'm working on getting it back. I'm working at it. No, but I think summertime, we've talked about it being a good buying opportunity, but especially for the modern basketball stuff, for the reason of, you have the offseason just starting up in playoff time and the teams that didn't make it and blah, blah, blah. But then you also have a lot of cards coming back from PSA. From what I've been hearing, people are getting back their PSA orders. You know, they're starting to get caught up. I'm not saying they're getting caught up quickly, but they're starting to get, cards are coming back. And I think that that's going to get better and better over the next few months. And so, I mean, June, July could be really sweet basketball buying time. Could be nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to stack up everything I can. So who is the player that people would focus on when the next season starts? What are the cards that have the most upside? What is the player of the team that should benefit the most? What time of the year is everyone deciding where to put their money? And that goes back to what I'm seeing this month. This has been my slowest month of sales on ComC. Some days I don't sell anything, which I never really had that before. But I'm also out of a lot of the Kobe's and Tom Brady's and other stuff. But I'm out of, I look on ComC, I'm like, man, is my account still active? I haven't had a sale in like a day and a half, which I've never gone that long before. eBay, not a single sale this month. But again, I have mostly football, so it doesn't really make sense. However, it's kind of good because I think of it as, all right, I didn't expect to sell now. I would have been very surprised if I sold football at a 2x profit when I bought it a month ago. But also with all the product that is being released, I think the disposable money is going there. I think this is the month of so much product coming out that I think in 2 months, 3 months, everyone will know what has been found, all the whatever, the black prisms, gold prisms, all the rarest stuff that would have been found, and then people would start moving on to just singles again. And then of course the PSA numbers coming back. But I expected a slow month. I've seen a slow month, but Hall of Fame vintage is really low right now. Maybe it goes lower, but if that's what you want to buy, I think this is a good time, especially while others care about the new stuff.
And I'm kind of one of those guys. It's like, people are always worried about the crash. And for me, the crash is a buying opportunity. If you believe in a certain, investment, whether that be stocks, bonds, real estate, alternative investments, if you've kind of identified like, okay, I believe in this over a period of time, for me, if cards go down, I'm buying a lot. And that's where I'm kind of struggling with right now. It's kind of the, NBA Top Shot, same story. NBA Top Shot's way down, you know, and then there's a part of me that's like, I want to buy everything so that, you know, when this rebounds, I'm in a good spot. And the same thing for cards as well. You know, it's like a lot of the stuff is way down. You know, do I just kind of move a lot of my, you know, chips in that direction? So I'm struggling with it. Just trying to figure out. And so right now I'm just being picky.
Yeah. Well, I think going forward, being picky is better because there's always going to be deals. I feel like if you're in a multitude of sports, there's always going to be deals. And I'm just waiting for people to not know where they want to put their money because there's so many options. And when they put it in one thing, I will look at what has dropped the most, knowing, all right, 6 months, 8 months time, this should be the thing that resurfaces as the number one priority. And I mean, it's one of those things where this summer will be interesting. Once playoffs really pick up, once everything opens up and you can spend your money at the amusement park and at the movie theater and at all these restaurants and at all these things, how much money is going to go there and how much money is going to stay in cards? How much money is going to go to MLB's NFT or NFL's Top Shot equivalent or whatever else? That's what will be interesting. But I think NBA Top Shot and the others, they have their novelty moment where everyone floods in and then it kind of stabilizes to what it will be. And I think for sports cards, it's kind of like, all right, we know it's been hot, but it's not the newest hot thing. You know, like not anymore. Sports cards was the newest hot thing until NBA Top Shot and the NFTs and all that. So then it'll be good to see, all right, where's it going to settle back down to? Who's going to leave? Who's going to come back? And go from there. But Andy, I got like 3,000 cards on ComC. I got a ton. So, but not all of them are listed. A lot of them are duplicates. All right, man. Dustin, great to have you on tonight. Everyone knows where to find you. The Personal Finance Dad on YouTube. You have an Instagram that's not very active, but on YouTube's fine. Any other words?
Actually, you were getting called out on Twitter the other day, and you weren't even on Twitter. So they were trying to tag you, and I was busting on you on Twitter, and you couldn't see it. Not on there, man.
Twitter, man. Oh, I hate looking at words. Like, I want to look at. Dude, the worst is
Brad
looking
can't
at
read. Brad can't read.
The worst is here. Look, when you go to a restaurant and it's all words, and I'm like, oh. Like, show me the picture of what I'm ordering. Oh, well, you could have the da-da-da. I'm like, what does it look like? You know, we like sports cards because we're not looking at words. We're looking at a really cool moment captured, right? Yeah. So seriously, I go on Yelp. My menu is go on Yelp, look at it, and tell the waiter or waitress, this is what I want. This person right here, what they took on their iPhone, that is what I want. That is it. All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I guess, Boris, but I'd rather just not have it. Anyway, all right, Dustin, thanks for hopping on with me tonight. Make sure to check out Dustin's channel, of course, if you want to get on the newsletter for my weekly deals and where I go over that $4,400 worth of rookie cards I bought Monday. And with that crazy chart I showed you, I'll unveil it there. And have a good night, y'all. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, guys.
So, good way to end it.
Just leave it on that.
Goodbye.